On this episode of the Imperfect Moms Club, we talk about tantrums. We'll share our thoughts, discuss how to make the screaming stop, and share some tips on how we as moms can keep our sanity.
This is the Imperfect Moms Club with your hosts, Lisa and Brittany.
So, how's it going?
Oh, man. I literally have a whiskey and Coke next to me right now.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, so if we start slurring our words near the end of this, I'll just take over the podcast near the end. Be like, okay, guys.
I'm not while we're recording much more professional than that.
We all have those days, you know.
So, tantrums. So Lily's 2 now, which means she's more, let's just say opinionated. She's more opinionated, you know. More opinions in general means a lot more negative opinions. And that's where we get tantrums, which is totally normal for a 2-year-old. She's just developing normally. That doesn't make it any easier, right? So she throws tantrums, and it's over like the smallest stuff too. And the most confusing part is that she'll throw a tantrum like over something that I didn't even tell her she couldn't have. And like I was ready to give it to her, but I guess because it wasn't like literally in her hand the second the words came out of her mouth, she just loses it. So then like I'm trying to give her the thing, and then she's just wah! And then I don't want to give her the thing anymore because I don't want to reward the bad behavior. And then my head gets confused because I'm like, I just want the noise to stop, but I don't want to reward the behavior. But what do I do? And it's just, I mean, the hardest part is that I get really triggered by it when she's screaming, because part of me is sad because I feel like I'm not doing enough. Like I'm not being a good enough mom, which is why she's so upset. And I just should have done better or something, even though it's crazy. But I feel bad. But then a bigger part of me is also like, I feel like I've been on the verge of throwing a huge tantrum myself for so long that I'm just like, I want to start screaming. And then like, you know, but I understand what is and isn't socially acceptable as an adult. So I'm not going to just start screaming my head off. But God, I want to. Like, I really want to, you know, like I want to go to one of those rooms where you go to like wreck stuff.
Yeah, you like throw plates.
Yeah, like they give you like a sledgehammer and you just like go ham sandwich on that stuff. And I just, yeah, I need to go to one of those rooms or like do one of those sensory deprivation pods, you know, where you go and they just put you in this thing and you can't see or hear anything. You're just floating in this like goo for however long. That sounds nice. There's too much noise in my house.
Yeah, I saw these YouTubers do that a couple years ago. And they're like, oh, you can't even stay in there for longer than 30 minutes. You're going to go crazy. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I feel like I could spend all day in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. People that don't get it aren't moms, I feel like. Well, I mean, I don't know how long I could handle it. Because, I mean, if you're completely sensory deprived, I mean, I don't know what that feels like. It's got to be weird. But I mean, me thinking about it right now, I'm like, oh, yeah, like not being touched or screamed at or like, mommy, like that just.
Yeah. Like sometimes as moms, like you need silence so badly. But then when the house is super quiet, I'm like, hold up. Why? Why is it so quiet? What's going on?
Yeah.
So it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, every time it goes quiet, Lily's always doing something bad. Every single time. I just know. Like, if she's been in her room by herself making no noise, I'm like, she's taking all the wipes out of the wipes box. They're all on the floor. And I'm one of those moms that sometimes I'll just let parenting go out the window and I'll give her whatever it is because I just need her to stop. Or, you know, if I have to take her to the hospital or something and she's being a lot and I'm by myself because COVID restrictions, like I'll just give her the whole thing of wipes and I'm like, have at it. Have fun. You do you, boo. Like, take all those wipes out, throw them all over the room. Like, I don't care. Just give mommy a minute, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, and that's bad. I mean, it's bad because we're teaching her that sometimes she can and sometimes she can't. And it's confusing for a little kid, right? But sometimes I just need to give in.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened to me the other day. I can't remember exactly what I was telling the girls to do. It could have been something like, okay, tablet time is over, or you've had enough popcorn, or whatever the thing was, I like said it. And then they didn't do what I asked them to do. And I was just audibly said, I'm like, why do we even try talking? No one listens to me. And my husband looked at me and he's like, that's not really a great parenting technique. You should really stand your ground. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I've been home alone with these girls all day. Okay. And like, I am just done. And at this point, I just don't even care. I don't even care.
Yeah. Yep. Sometimes, yeah. And that's the thing about husbands too. Like sometimes they just like need to butt
I
out.
don't get it.
Sometimes.
So we have this big church event thing happening soon. And so my husband, and he's running this STEM camp, which is a science, technology, engineering, and math camp. So he's been working on that, getting that ready. And I've been doing this other thing. But the difference is like when he wants to go leave and work on his STEM camp, he can just leave, just walk out of the house and he can just go and be there for 4 hours and, making his science projects and getting ready.
Yep.
Whereas if I want to go and work on my thing, my little program that we're having, I have to like make sure that at least like the dishwasher is going or the laundry is going and the kids are fed and they have shoes on, which takes 20 minutes to find our shoes. And I'm like, oh my word, just like, could you not put them in the same place every time? No, that'd be too easy. And then like drag them over, set up all my stuff, start working on my projects. Then someone has to poop or someone took my toy. And it's just like, so I was getting stressed and he kind of like was laughing a little bit. And I got so mad. I was like, you don't understand. You would just get to leave. He just brought me a nice coffee. Oh my word. I love you. Yeah. Oh, seriously, he just brought me a nice coffee. He's so nice. Oh, now I feel bad. But anyway, I was like, why are you laughing? Like, you don't understand. You just get to leave and walk out and you don't have to worry about anything. Whereas I'm trying to take care of these tiny humans and do all the stuff and make sure the house doesn't fall apart. It's just, It's a lot. The mental load is a lot. But
yeah. And like, it's not even that, but like, he doesn't get triggered like I do. And so he doesn't understand what it's like, right? Because he's not the mom. So I don't know. It's like my heart just like, I have like a body reaction when she starts crying. I mean, obviously if she's like hurt or something, it's worse, right? Like I'm like really worried and sad, but like when it's a tantrum, I still have like a full body reaction to it and I can't ignore it. And then I get like super stressed out and Paul's always like, you just got to ignore it. Like she's just going to do this. And I'm like, but I can't, mm-hmm. Like I can't do it. Like I literally have to leave the house or I have to, whatever, it's hard. It's difficult to, deal with. Yeah. So 2-year-olds plus 2-month-olds. I don't know why I thought that this was a good idea.
Every parent who has multiple kids has said that. They're like, why did we do this to ourselves?
Yeah. And this isn't related to tantrums, but like just for a second, so Lily had her heart thing. She had like a hole in her heart. And so she was really sleepy and, and I remember she was like really docile. Like, yeah, she had her moments where she was screaming or whatever, but she was always hungry because she wasn't eating enough. So like we could just feed her and she'd be fine. But this one, Holly, her heart is fine, which is amazing. But then she's also like, she can scream for hours and she can like do all the things that normal newborns are doing. So I'm like, oh my God, it's like I'm a first time mom again. I'm like, what the F? Like, what's going on?
She's making up for time lost. Like the sisters got together for a minute and they're like, hey, can you like catch mom up on all that screaming that I missed out on? Like, gotcha. I got this.
It's difficult. I don't know. And plus, I'm still dealing with postpartum symptoms or whatever. So I've been having these weird episodes where I just get like chills out of nowhere. Like I get goosebumps all over my body and it feels like I have a fever. That's really fun. Mm-hmm. Super fun. I didn't remember about that. I don't know. All I remember from the first time is just sweating a lot. But like this is like an uncomfortable, like I feel sick.
Oh,
thing.
That's so hard.
So yeah, and then like all I can do, like I wish like right now I'm having one and I wish I could just like be in a freezer, but I also want to wear a sweater because I'm like cold but hot. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway.
It's like premenopause.
Yeah, it's that. It's just hard. But anyway, so
yeah. Parenting is so much harder when you're not feeling well. I get migraines. Now, I'm very grateful because I only get like one or two a month. And I have friends who get them like all the time. And I remember I was home alone with the girls and I just needed to close my eyes. I felt so sick. So I'm laying on the couch and I'm like, you guys just watch TV and I'm just going to lay here. Like, I don't care. I just don't even care because I didn't feel good. And then I could hear noises, but I was trying to tune it out. And after half an hour, I opened my eyes and the girls had gotten out the frosted flakes
Oh no.
out of it, and it was everywhere.
Oh,
like
no.
I couldn't even see my carpet anymore. And I think when I finally opened my eyes, it was because they were like fighting or something, of course. And I was like, no. And so, yeah, that was just a big mess. But yeah, I can't parent while I'm not feeling well. I just go into a survival mode.
But so you bring up migraines. So I don't get migraines. Have you ever had to deal with a tantrum while having a migraine? Like one of your, like
mostly,
I can't even imagine that.
I just tap out. Lucky for me, most of the time, somehow, my husband's almost always home. There's been a couple times where I've been home alone. I just turn on the TV and I just leave. And I tell the girls, mommy's head hurts and I need to go lay down. Yeah, I tap out. No, can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even imagine like having to deal with a migraine because it's already like it's loud enough. But like if you're also dealing with
yeah, the overstimulation is legit because if my girls are having a tantrum and they're screaming, and I know it's just over something quote unquote silly, like yes, to them, it's a big deal, but it's over something silly like she took my crayon and they are screaming about it. And if I'm already like not having a great day, it just totally triggers me. And I could start screaming, which I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And I always apologize to my girls after I've done that because I want them to know I'm okay and mommy shouldn't have screamed. And it sounds silly, but I try to like count to 10. I give myself a timeout. I will make them go to their room and they can listen to a story on their Alexa or they can read a book or color. And I just need a break. Like it's not for them, it's for me. Like I need to chill before I can deal with it because then I get way overstimulated and I start freaking out. And then it's almost like I get an adrenaline rush. It's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then I explode. I just lose it. And then just, ruins your whole morning. So
yeah, that was me this morning. So I got Lily out of bed. She's 2 years old and she's still drinking milk out of a bottle. I know. It's bad. I know. I know that it's not good. Pediatrician says that. I know, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know how it happened, but time ran and I just, all of a sudden she's 2 and she's still drinking milk out of bottles. She doesn't go to bed with a bottle. So there's no worry about like cavities or whatever. Anyway, yeah, but she will not drink the milk out of a sippy cup. Like she won't. Like she'll only drink water out of a sippy cup. And if it's milk, it's got to be in a bottle or else she'll just like play with it and dump it all over the place. Like she won't drink it, which doesn't make sense to me because I'm like, woman, it's the same liquid. It's just in a different,
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense, right? She's a small child. Nothing's going to make sense, right, to an adult. But to her, she's like, ew, I don't want to use a sippy cup, which, valid for her. But it doesn't make sense to me. So this morning, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to cold turkey this. Because if she doesn't ask for milk, then she doesn't like, if I don't offer milk to her, like a lot of the times she doesn't ask for it. And then I just don't give her a bottle with milk in it. So she can go a day without a bottle. So I'm just like, I just won't mention it. Like if she doesn't mention it, then we're good. She'll just have water or whatever. But then pediatricians are like, they need to be drinking so-and-so ounces of milk a day. So I'm like, okay, well, crap. So she was sitting down for breakfast and I was like, all right, we're going to try, she asked for milk and I said, okay, we're going to drink milk out of a cup. And she lost it. And she'd already woken up screaming at like 6 a.m. and she usually gets up at 7. So I'm in bed and I waited until 6:30 because I was like, I'm not getting up. I am very tired. I am not getting up. My newborn is asleep still. I'm going to wait until 7. And then she was just screaming so loud that I was like, okay, I'm up. And so I was already like, not.
Yeah. You were already in a zone of like, I'm already on edge.
Yeah. And so like, I was already like, really like, I feel like all of my nerves have just been completely like stripped. Like, I just like, they're all like in open air right now. And it just like hurts physically. So I get her out of her crib. And then, we're sitting down for breakfast and then the milk thing. And then she starts screaming. And I'm like, no, just no. Just no. And so I put on Finding Dory because she discovered that movie last week and she really likes it. So I put on Finding Dory and I was like, it's fun. You can just drink with a straw, whatever. And so I got her to kind of sip at it. But she does this thing where we like ask her to drink something or eat something. Well, she'll tongue it and then smile, and she won't actually. So I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, just like drink it, And so she's like playing with me, but in my head, I'm like, I am not like effing around right now. This isn't playtime. This is milk time. So it's just like, it was really tough. And so she lost it. She had a tantrum. I try really hard to give my husband because on the weekends he'll stay up till 2 to take care of the newborn, and then I'll wake up early and then let him sleep. And so I try to be a good wife as much as I can. And so I try to give him time. But then this morning she was throwing a tantrum, and then I finally got her to drink some, and then I kind of zoned out on the couch because I had to. But then what felt like a second later, there was milk all over the floor. And and all over her. And I'm just like, oh my God. And then, she started screaming about something else. And then Holly started crying, and I heard Holly, and I was like, oh, what is happening right now? So I had to go in the bedroom, and I was like, Paul, I'm about to lose it. Like, oh, and I felt bad, But it's just, I did not have a good day today. I didn't have a good day, which is why, before we started recording this, here I am with my whiskey and Coke. I told Paul, I was like, hey, could you make me a stiff drink? And he was like, sure. So that's what's happening at my house right now. That's what's going on here. It's just tantrums, man. And you can try to ignore them. Sometimes I can, but it's tough.
Yeah. And there's not always like this secret formula that will just like turn it off, I follow a lot of different experts and just people who give advice on Instagram and whatever. And I get some good tips and things from them. But sometimes I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like, kids are not in a textbook. You can't just like flip page 32 and do whatever is on the third line of the page. They're kids. They're not rational. I wish that there was just like a quick and easy way to deal with it. And then sometimes I'll try a little trick from my little bag of tricks because I'm an educator and it works. And I'm like, awesome. And then the next time I'll do it and like falls completely flat. And I'm like, I'm a failure. It's hard. It's just so hard.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
You like your drinks nice and cold, but the sensitive teeth thing is getting old. Time to say goodbye to the pain, because having sensitive teeth is just so lame. Crest gum and sensitivity turns your house to ah.
80% of sensitivity starts at the gum line. Treat it at the source with Crest Gum and Sensitivity. Crest. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
That's how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Coming up next on the Imperfect Moms Club.
Coming right up, we'll talk about tantrum advice that we've gotten and things that we have figured out that work for us.
So that brings me to the new thing. So what's some piece of advice that you've gotten about how to deal with tantrums? Because I've heard a few things. I mean, maybe you've heard more than I have. But what are some things you've heard?
Yeah. So obviously one of the biggest ones and the hardest one, I think, is just preventative measures to avoiding the whole tantrum in the first place. I mean, it's not always going to work out. Obviously, they're kids. And like I said, they're irrational. Life happens. They're not going to, they just lose it sometimes. They have emotions. They're trying to figure out their emotions. So I try to like set up the days. Like I know like, okay, well, if they're hungry, they're going to be cranky. So if I know we're going to be out, I'll make sure I have granola bars or something in my purse to avoid the tantrum later on when I know they're going to be hungry. And then I was joking with someone this morning. I was like, I am not above bribery. And she goes, no, it's not bribery. It's an incentive. I'm like, okay, I like that. So I'll do that. But I won't like do anything major. We're like, if you aren't good today, we're never going to Disney World. I won't say anything like that. I'll say something like, okay, listen, if we can get through these errands and you guys are good, we will, I don't know, watch a cartoon during lunch or something that's like not a major thing if we miss out on it. But it is kind of like a little fun, little something. And I like doing things that are like free. Like we're going to buy Happy Meals. Like I try to really reserve those for like when I really need something desperate. And then often what we do for kids when they're having tantrums is what we need to do for ourselves when they're having the tantrum. So like a timeout, removing yourselves from the situation, maybe turning on some calm music, counting to 10. I have literally closed my eyes and slowly counted to 10 and I feel so much better. Sometimes just getting a drink of water resets things. I don't understand how the science works, but I was at a seminar once and they're like, have the kids drink some water. I'm like, what? That's weird. But they're like, no. There's like this chemical thing that happens in your brain and it like helps reset. And I'm like, okay. So I try that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it does give you a break because you have to like stop, go get a cup, fill it up, take a drink, and it takes a second. So I think that's part of it is that you have to take a few seconds to like just breathe and let's think about this.
Yeah, I kind of understand that because sometimes like when I'm about to cry or something, like drinking water kind of makes me like not have to cry anymore. There's like something that happens. So maybe that's like, because a lot of times tantrums involve tears. And so maybe like drinking water kind of helps them not cry anymore. And then maybe it calms them down. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
I don't know. But, yeah. So one thing I did a couple of days ago, it was really weird. I don't know what made me think of it. I just tried it and it worked. Now it won't work the next time, but it worked this time. So I'm trying to get Molly down to take a nap and she's throwing a tantrum. She doesn't want to take a nap, but she's obviously exhausted because I can tell by her tantrum, like you're exhausted, you need a nap. She's throwing her body all over the place and I'm laying on the bed with her and I'm trying to hold her hand. And I kept saying, you know, like lay down, you need to close your eyes, whatever. And I was like, okay, let's try something new. And I look at her and I say, hey, Molly, I love you. And she just like stopped and smiled at me and was like, I love you too. And she closed her eyes and laid there with her like a big smile, but her eyes were closed. And then she was out in 10 seconds. She was exhausted. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, I mean, I love her. I love my kids. But honestly, that was like one of the last things I wanted to say because she was being so bad, so naughty. I'm like, I'm just going to try this. And it worked. And I took a picture of her smiling with her eyes closed. And I love it.
That's so cute. Oh, well, the biggest thing I've heard about is just redirection. Like just distract her with something else. I guess this works with lots of things, but it's worked like a few times during a tantrum. But a lot of times, like Lily literally sees red when she's throwing a tantrum. So there's like nothing that I can do to distract her. But sometimes it's worked. I don't know. And then like I got a weird one, like some random mom on Facebook suggested giving her something sweet. Like I posted in the group about like her post-nap tantrums and she used to do that. And so this one mom said, yeah, just give her like something sweet as a snack or something. And so one time she was like throwing a tantrum and I was like, do you want a popsicle? And then she was like, oh yeah. And then she like got really excited. And then like, so, I mean, I don't know, it's probably just because, you know, sweet things are yummy and makes kids, you know, whatever. But I mean, again, that makes me feel like I'm rewarding bad behavior. And so again, my head gets confused. And so like, it's a weird, like, yeah, this makes her stop throwing the tantrum, but it also like teaches her that she can just behave badly and get rewarded for it. But I mean, it's rough too, because, you know, Paul's really good at ignoring it or really good at, you know, he can put her in timeout. He can do all these things. And I always feel like I'm always like he's trying to teach her the error of her ways or something, you know, in a nice way, obviously. But he's trying to teach her that she can't behave that way. And then I'm like, but I think she's too young to learn that. But then I'm like, maybe she's old enough. Like, I don't know. she's my baby. So I'm always going to think she's like too young for like hard lessons. Right. But I mean, she's got to learn. She's got to learn sometime. It's just, it's hard for me. But yeah, that was a weird one that I heard about. But yeah, I mean, popsicles work. It's just, she really likes them. So I don't want to reward her for the tantrum. But it does get the screaming to stop. So it does get the screaming to stop. So, but yeah, those are the only things that I've really heard.
Yeah. Another thing that I try and do is acknowledging their feelings. Now, sometimes people can take it like way too far where they just are like, oh, are you upset? Let's talk about how upset you are. And I'm like, okay, like, yes, acknowledge their feelings. Like, yes, they're a human and they're having an emotion and everyone wants to feel validated in their feelings. Then you have to tell them, okay, it's okay to be upset. I'm sorry that we can't go to grandma's today, or I'm sorry that, you can't eat 6 cookies right now, but but later we can try this, or later we can do that. Or when you're upset, how about we just go in our room and we sit for a minute and we try and relax, or I don't know, draw a picture about how you feel, trying to give them something to do with their feelings so that they have tools later on.
Yeah.
Like, and again, Lily's really young, so it's not like you can sit down and be, hey, Lily, when you're not feeling well, go write a list about all the things that are bothering you. Like, she's
like, what?
She's not going to be able to do that. But my girls are a little bit older, so trying to give them a way to process their feelings and what to do with their feelings, because I don't want them to think that having negative emotions is necessarily bad. Like, sometimes things happen and it makes us feel bad, and it's very human to feel bad. And if you don't feel bad, you're a psychopath. And we don't want that. So, because sometimes as adults, like, we get angry. Okay, well, you can be angry and not like physically hurt somebody.
Right.
You can be upset, like even as like a customer, but still treat the employee who's dealing with you with respect, and not.
That's why I haven't literally started screaming my head off. I'm trying to cope with my anger in a better way than that, right? But I mean, she's 2, so she doesn't know that yet. But yeah, I mean, I think it's super important to teach kids that, yeah, it's okay to be angry, I mean, we have a book. Lily has a book just called like Feelings, it just has like different faces, and it says, and so I'm all about teaching kids to be emotionally healthy and learn how to have feelings. But yeah, teaching them how to deal with them in the correct way.
And like sometimes, they just need to have a tantrum. They just need to cry it out and get it out and make them feel better. So I think this was like a couple weeks ago. Molly was just losing it over, I can't even remember what it was, but she was just screaming her head off and she wouldn't go to her room to calm down. So I just put my earbuds in and I turned up some podcasts like really loud, and I could still see her. So I knew she was safe, but I was just like, just doing my own thing. And like, you just got to scream for a minute. Like, go ahead, just do it. And then afterwards, when she was ready to talk, because I'm not going to talk to her if she's just screaming. Like, that's not going to do anything. I'll talk about it. Be like, okay, so why were you upset? What happened? Did that make you feel better to scream like that? Like, did you have a good morning? Like, did you think mommy enjoyed that? And she's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, next time mommy has to say no, or that we can't do this or we can't do that. I try and give her coping mechanisms. Be like, yeah, it's okay to be disappointed, but you can't just like absolutely lose it. But again, having to remember her age, she's a little kid. Okay. So I can't expect her to act like an adult.
Yeah.
And some adults act like kids. So. Yeah.
Just to put that mental health focus back in, because it's everywhere. When I'm having like a moment of like anxiety or whatever, like I feel like a little kid. Paul and I were just talking about this last night. So we were talking about something and I was really stressed out about something unrelated. And then I ended up like I was being argumentative with him. And so he got mad. And then like, because I was in my anxiety moment, I didn't realize it was happening. And so then I got mad at him because I was like, in my head, I'm like, why can't you just let me deal with this badly? So like, that doesn't make sense, right? So yeah. So I mean, I totally get where Lily's coming from, because I mean, I feel like a little kid too when I'm like really upset or whatever. So it's hard even for adults, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you brought up something that reminds me of. So this is unrelated to what I was just talking about, but sometimes they just have to scream. So Lily, one time she was like losing it, throwing a tantrum, and we just kind of waited. And then like when she was done, she like got up on the chair next to Paul and like snuggled with him and then asked for a goldfish.
Kids go through emotions so quickly.
Yeah, she was done just like that. And then she just wanted to hug daddy and have some goldfish. And then he pretended like it hadn't happened. And he was like, yeah, sure, let's have some goldfish and a snuggle, and it was like the cutest thing I've ever seen. And I went from like wishing she would just go somewhere else to, oh my God, my little daughter is so cute, like it's just, that was crazy. Yeah, sometimes they do just need to scream it out. But I mean, that's the hardest time. Because, there's nothing you can do, right? Like when Lily was doing her regression, which I don't even know if that's completely over because nap time was a little tough today, but it's realizing that this is the normal thing that she's going to go through. That's really hard for me. Like, I wish that there was just, like, she didn't have to, or there's something I could do to avoid it or whatever. But I mean, when you think about regressions, they're learning so much in their brain at the same time that, it's going to be hard. And especially 2 years old regression, that's where they make the most development, I think. I think I read that somewhere is, their brains are developing the most when they're 2. So, I mean, it's obvious she's going to have a rough time. It's unfortunate that it's also a rough time for me.
Yeah. Sometimes to try and help the tantrum, I'll try and offer a little bit of control back to the kid. Now, again, you have to be careful. You don't want to reinforce anything. And I'm mom and I need to make the choices, but sometimes you can help me make choices. So if they're just losing it, be like, okay, I'm sorry that you're upset. We can't have ice cream or whatever the thing is. We could instead do this or this. We could go to the park or we could watch a movie. What would you like to do? So just giving them an alternative and offering a little bit of control back kind of can make them think again. So because they're thinking, oh, I'm upset. Mom won't let me have X, Y, or Z. So I'm just going to scream right now and I'm just going to freak out. So then when I offer them a question with a couple of choices, they can be like, oh, wait a second. What do I want to do? And sometimes that helps. And I'm still in control because I'm the one offering the choice. So I'm okay, well, you can't have ice cream. So I'm not going to offer you a donut or a piece of cake right now, but I'll offer these other 2 activities that might be good for you right now to help calm down or, burn some excess energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll try to do that sometimes too, but I mean, a lot of times, like I said, Lily just sees red and there's nothing, there's nothing I can do. She's just out for blood at that point. And I'm just okay. I'm do you want to listen to Baby Shark for the night? So she discovered Baby Shark recently, and it's my mom's fault. So my mom bought her one of those press and play books with all of the Baby Shark songs. So I'm just and at the time, it was cool because the book, the songs in the book aren't that annoying, and she listens to them as she's going to bed. If she's not sleepy yet, she'll listen to them in her crib and be quiet, and that's fine. But then now she's insisting on listening to the YouTube videos of Baby Shark. And that's the really annoying song.
Yeah.
And it's over and over and over again. I found a video that is just 120 minutes of that song on a loop.
Yeah.
So that I feel the person who made that video is a mom because that way you don't have to press rewind because they're going to want to listen to it again. You can just let it play and then walk away. Mm-hmm. And it'll just play the song over and over and over and over again. And your kid will be happy, but you'll be about to gouge your eyeballs out or dig scissors in your ears or something crazy like that. But anyway, so anyway, getting back to it. But yeah, she discovered Baby Shark, and so now my life is over.
The Imperfect Moms Club is brought to you by
Geico gets you access to licensed agents 24/7, which means that Geico is always there for you. If only everyone was always there for you, like your mom, when you fill out really, really important paperwork on the first day of a new job.
Name, check. Birthday, Social Security, is that a thing? Hey, Mom, what is my Social Security number? Mom. Okay, let's guess. 0017. Oh, Gemini. Hashtag done.
Geico, always there for you with savings and 24/7 access to licensed agents.
Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance. Say hi, guys. When I adopted them, I discovered that they both have incredible personalities. Chance's sole purpose in life is to love and to be loved. Frankie is a little bit of a scoundrel and always entertaining. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
Coming up next on the Imperfect Moms Club.
Moms need help too. Listen to hear some tips on how you can keep your sanity while your baby is losing theirs.
So let's talk about some tips for moms. Like, how do we cope with tantrums, like us as the mom? What should we do to not go insane and burn the house down?
Yeah, I have to just remove myself from the situation or remove them from the situation. Like, maybe it's sending them to their room. Again, my girls listen to a lot of stories on their Alexa. Some people think it's a little bit questionable to have the Amazon Alexa in their bedroom, and I can understand why, but also, like, our walls are really thin. I can hear everything. So I'm always aware of what's going on pretty much in our house. I have an Audible set up on there, and also you can tell it to read you Disney stories, which is great. And the girls can sit there and be like, I want a princess story. I want a fairy story. And it'll just pick something and read it to them. So I'll send them to their room and I'll have them do that for a few minutes just so I can get a break, you know, or if it's just really bad, I just turn on the TV and I walk away for a few minutes. I just got to remove myself, just walk away. Also, again, if my husband is home, I just tap out, be like, I need a minute. I'm going to lose it. I need a minute. And then another thing I do is I try and like make sure I have me time somewhere. Now, me time doesn't happen every single day. I talked about it before. Normally on Sundays, either before or right after the podcast, I'll go out to a thrift store and that's like my me time. It makes me so happy. And it's only me who goes. Sometimes I'll get a coffee. Sometimes I won't. And I just know like that is my time to just decompress. And I look forward to it. Like, that's awesome. So much, especially like on Wednesdays or Thursdays. And I'm really like, okay, come on, we can get to Sunday. We're so close, you know? And then I just like, I guard that time. And I've told my husband before, I've communicated with him, like, I really need that. I know it sounds silly to go out and spend $20 at the thrift store and buy something probably from a dead person's house. But like, I really, really need this. It makes me feel like me again.
Yeah.
And I really need it. So he makes it happen.
That's good. I had taken a break on my theme too. Taking a break. I mean, if you can get one, it's easier said than done, right? Because I mean, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom, like my husband works all day, so I can't just like leave my two kids and like peace out, especially since they're so young. I mean, I feel like if Lily was Claire's age or something, I could probably be like, okay, just give me like 10 minutes, I'll be back or whatever. But I mean, I can't really do that. Like Lily will play by herself for like a few minutes, but I mean, I can't just like go into my bedroom and put on Netflix, right? So, but I mean, taking a break when I can. There's a weird, so this might not sound as strange as it does in my head, but like I've gotten really into doing dishes. And it's like, dishes, like, okay, whatever, like it can be therapeutic, but like I'm like obsessive now. And I think it's because of like the added stress and just everything going on. Like I really love taking the sponge and like scrubbing dishes or like getting all sudsy and like whatever. Like I just really like that for some reason. And then like squeezing out the sponge. I don't know why. Like it's so strange. Like I should be in like a padded cell or whatever. But like,
no, it's satisfying.
Yeah. So like I just sometimes when she's like throwing a tantrum or something, like I'll just like I'll wash dishes. And I'll wash dishes or I'll wash the bottles or whatever. Or maybe like sometimes if I'm feeling like extra psycho-y, I'll just like fill up the sponge with water and then like rinse it out and then like keep doing that. And then that kind of just like gets me out of out of my head. And then I'm just focusing on like getting all the soap out of the sponge. And then it makes me feel better. And I'm kind of de-stressing. And I'm still there. Like she's still there in the living room throwing a tantrum, but I'm like, I've tuned her out and now I'm just focused on the sponge. I feel like it's like a weird like OCD thing. I texted my therapist and I was like, so I have a weird new OCD behavior.
Should I be concerned about this? Is this okay?
Yeah, like I'm definitely bringing it up. I have an appointment with her on Tuesday. I'll definitely be like, so I do this weird sponge thing.
Can you bring the sponge with you and like set it next to you on the couch or something?
And then, when I was pregnant, like, how pregnant sometimes they get like pica is what it's called, where you something that isn't food. So I had the like sponge thing, but then sometimes I would like bite the sponge. Like I want to like suck the water out of it. And that I was like obsessed with doing that. very weird. Once I wasn't pregnant anymore, it wasn't that weird anymore, but I still like sponges. I don't know. I'm all about them now. But anyway, so so that weird dishes thing, but then I don't know, just zoning out in general, like even just scrolling on my phone. Like I'll sit there on the couch and then I'll just get on Facebook or get on Instagram or something, and I'm still there. I can still see her, but I'm not paying attention because I just can't, because I have to, if she needs to scream for 30 minutes or something, there's nothing I can do, then there's nothing I can do. I'm not going to like be miserable or whatever, so I just, I have to distract myself. Sometimes we'll call grandma. I guess this can also be like a way to kind of get her to stop throwing a tantrum, because she likes talking to grandma too. But like sometimes I just need to call my mom. I just need to talk to another person, I guess, is the thing. So like I'll FaceTime my mom, and she's about the only person that I would call during a tantrum, because I feel like everybody else would be like, why are you calling me while your kid's screaming? But like, it's grandma. So
yeah,
call grandma, and then I can like talk to another adult while my kid's screaming, and then that'll distract Lily too. So a lot of times she'll be like, oh, grandma, and then like the tantrum will be over. And then just snack time for both of us. Like I'll give her a snack, and then I'll like chow down on some chips. I do have some healthy or some unhealthy coping habits. Like I'll make myself a drink. Like I asked Paul to make me a stiff drink. Or I'll eat like a bag of Tostitos. It just makes me feel good. And if I'm not doing all the time, it's fine. But yeah, so those are my, I guess, tried and true, like little small list of things that's what I do.
Yeah. I try to go for a jog every other day. Now, it doesn't always happen, but I find that, getting outside, or even if it's not outside, I have a treadmill in my basement. Just moving my body for 30 minutes makes me feel so good. Like while I'm doing it, I hate myself. I'm like, oh, I'm not one of those people who enjoys working out. I wish I was.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I'm drunk, but like that's it.
So the thing about like when you jog outside is even if you get tired, you still have to turn around and come back home. Whereas if I'm on my treadmill, I can just stop.
Yeah.
My dog gets really confused when I'm on my treadmill though, because he just watches my feet and he's like, she's not going anywhere.
What is
so confused? He's like, this isn't how this walks work. Like, this isn't how it works. And the thing about when I go jogging outside, too, is if there's a car going by, I'm jogging like my whole heart out. Because people here know who I am. We live in a really small town. And so when they see me jogging, they know, oh, that's the teacher who works at that school. And so I'm like, I gotta like, they know who I am. Like yeah. And so there's always cars. And I'm like, just, but it's better for me. But yeah, so getting up and moving around, that can help to boost your mood. But I'm not going to lie, I'm an emotional eater too. And I think it was Wednesday night. I just had a really bad day and I had a big bowl of ice cream. And I looked at my husband and I'm like, I'm just going to be fat forever. He just like hugged me and let me have my ice cream.
Yeah, just let her have her ice cream.
She needs it. She
we deserve it. We're worth it.
Yeah. Well, and then I saw a meme that was like, do I want to eat my feelings or spend my feelings? And that's exactly how it is. Like I will either eat something or I go on Amazon and I'm like, what's been in my cart for 3 months that I'm finally just going to buy because I'm in a bad mood. I just need to have a little bit of shopping therapy. And shopping therapy is legit. It is so legit. I've had some really hard times in my life, and just going out with a friend and buying a $10 pair of shoes just makes me feel better. It does.
Yeah, so I haven't done shopping therapy in like a long time, just because since being a stay-at-home mom, like I'm scared to spend money. But when I had a job, I remember like years ago, I never really I didn't really understand like people that like shopped to feel better. Like I didn't get it. And then I went to the mall one day and I was in a bad mood and I just started buying things and I was like, oh, like I'm starting like, what's this feeling coming over me? Like, and I was like, oh, I get it. Right. So like, I don't know. It's just, I think it's just because you're focused on something different. You're like looking at clothes and you're not thinking about whatever it is. It's, and then you have purse or like a cool pair of shoes that you didn't have before.
Yeah. And you can be like, talking to your kids like, oh, you like these new shoes? Mommy got these when you were throwing a tantrum because I wouldn't give you goldfish. I remember the day. And changing your perspective and thinking about something else. This is going to sound bad, but if I'm just having a really bad day or there's just drama happening, I will go on YouTube and I will watch YouTube drama just to think about someone else's problems instead of my own problems.
Oh, I love other people's drama.
Yeah, I'm like, let me just sit here and listen and like look at all the receipts and listen to all the voice memos and be like, oh, I can't believe she said that. She would text that to you, and it lets me focus on someone else for a minute and like my problems don't exist. And then in my head, I think of, oh, well, you need to do this, this, and this, and then it'll just go away. Your problems will all go away. So I don't know. Maybe I should become a therapist and listen to everyone else's problems.
Oh my God. Why do you think I watched The Bachelor? Like oh man, that girl, like just called that girl a slut. Like, and I'm like all about it. Like I'm like living when I'm watching The Bachelor because my problems don't exist. Like I'm just really focused on this one girl that called this other girl a slut. Like that's all I care about. So, yeah. Like, I'm like, oh my God, no way. And like, I'm all into it. And then like, I start feeling better. Yeah. It's a real thing. Yeah. Reality TV is great for therapy, for therapeutic reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. And my husband walked in on me once. I was watching some YouTube drama and the guy wasn't being very nice. He's like, I can't believe you talk like that. I'm like, you don't understand what she said about him. And I was like, I had like my whiteboard.
Oh my God, I've done that too. Like I'll talk Paul's ear off about something like he doesn't care about. Like I'm like, and then she said this, and then he said this, and this other person, and then like baby mama was there too, and then like all hell broke loose. And then he's like, okay.
Like, we don't know these people.
Like he's like, cool. Where's he right now? And I'm like, I don't know, but did you know?
Oh yeah, I don't know. It's a coping thing. And, if they're just going to put it out there, free on the internet, I'm going to watch it. And I'm just going to, maybe I'll offer some advice in the comment section. Maybe I'll just sit there with my popcorn and just watch it unravel.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Imperfect Moms Club with your hosts, Lisa and Brittany.